Well, that was a bad way to start the season, but the good news is the game is over. Raptors lose 136 to 106 in their home opener. Let's break it down in tonight's post-game show. So it's Raptors marking the 30th anniversary of their franchise home opener, wearing the new purple jersey, which looked fantastic, by the way. That's the only thing I think that it's pretty much the only thing that looked fantastic throughout the game, though. 30th anniversary marked by a 30-point loss. The Raptors set many new franchise records, if you will, last season for the wrong reasons. And why not pick off right where you left off? Losing by 30 points is the worst home opener in franchise history. In fact, it's just the most they've lost by in a season opener in franchise history. Outscored 36-17 in the second quarter. This one got ugly. And before you get mad, you might be sitting there. Absolutely furious with what I'm saying right now. Like, what, do you think this team's going to be good? No, I didn't really think this team was going to be good. In the main channel, did a video talk about how many wins I think they're going to get. I think that they're going to win. This team's going to win 32-ish games. And I guess one game isn't necessarily going to change that, but I do not expect this team to be very good. That being said, the spread for this game was 6.5. You know, it's your home opener. Fans are buzzing for a new season. My expectations are low for this team, but being down by 20 at halftime and losing by 30 in your season opener at home, that's got to be an embarrassing one for this team to take, for sure. That's got to be an embarrassing one for this team to take, for sure. But let's try to go through the box score here and drum up three things that we've ultimately learned from the Raptors from the season opener. Three things that we've learned. Look, the game will not define the season, hopefully, but what are three things that we will be able to gather from this one? Okay? Let's first of all go through the box score. Definitely one of Barnes's lower performances. I think it's going to be one of the worst we'll see this year. Minus 33, 3 of 14, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. It was bad. I actually think the box score flatters him a little bit because, yeah, it was probably worse than he looks here. 9 points, 3 of 14 is bad, but the minus 33 is pretty horrific. But what I can't get over is, and I'll probably talk this more in the main channel, he just didn't look like he was engaged today. Just right from the start, didn't look like he had it, and the energy wasn't there. I'm sorry, but it's year 4. I get he's still young, but it's year 4. He just signed a rookie max. Bad games happen, but you can't. He's the face of the franchise now. He can't be the guy that's struggling to get engaged, to show aggression. At this point, that can't happen. That you can't even have one game like that where it just looks like you don't want to try. You've got to set the example for the rest of the guys out there. And it didn't look like he was doing that today, which is really upsetting. But that's not me saying he's shit, he's bad, he's the worst player ever, he's not good. That's not what I'm saying at all. I think, like I said, this will be the low point, one of the low points of the season, but hopefully a bit of an awakening to, this is the face franchise. You cannot have a game where it doesn't look like you're engaged and getting beat way too easy on defense. Pirtle, my God, Mr. Consistent, not on it today. 5 sloppy turnovers, 6 points. He was brutal. Quickley was good until he got injured. Abaji, not much on offense. Grady Dick played okay, actually. 5 of 13 with 16 points. Decent bright spot. Good start to the season for him. Definitely a bright spot. Boucher, 5 of 9 off the bench, 18 points. 4 of 5 from 3. Definitely a bright spot. Jamal Shed, 3 of 7, 10 points off the bench. Minus 21, I don't think does him justice. He was fantastic on defense. And of all the people that like really weren't trying or doing much, at the very least, Jamal Shed was constantly engaged, constantly trying to make things happen. I commend him for that. It's difficult to do that when you're down by 30 points in the third quarter at home to open your season, but he was engaged and at least brought some life to this game. The rest of the guys, Bruno Fernando is probably not an NBA caliber rotation guy. I don't know why we signed him. He looked out of place today. Battle, garbage time, not much to say. Mobo, garbage time, not much to say. Temple played 8 minutes. That tells you how the game went. Shamshay, garbage time. David Mitchell had some open fast break layups, which made his score line look good. He had 8 points. He was bad. Could not get involved on offense. And the turnovers. Jeez, Davion. I don't think we can get much worse from him than that. Cavs go crazy. 25 points for Mobley, plus 31. 21 points for Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, plus 31. LeVert, 19 points, plus 19. 8 of 9 shooting. Ty Jerome cooked us. Some of it was garbage time, but 6 of 7 for fucking Ty Jerome, man. That is bad. So what are 3 things that we can kind of conjure up as a lesson from the game here? Well, first of all, I try and give Darko the benefit of the doubt, give an opportunity to show that he's not as bad as I say he is of a coach. And then he puts out, while the Raptors are playing well, they're up 27-7 early. While they're playing well, he brings in the bench unit. And I get it. There's not a lot of winning combinations when your bench for like meaningful minutes is compromised of Boucher, Fernando, Shed, and Mitchell. Davion Mitchell. There's not a lot of winning combinations there. But playing all 4 of those guys with Scottie Barnes, how can you not recognize that isn't going to work? The game went to shit right from when that lineup came in. Boucher shot the ball well today, I get it. But that's 5 non-shooters. 5 guys you do not have to heavily contest on the perimeter. The spacing was disastrous. Nobody could move anywhere. Barnes had nowhere to attack. And that lineup just could not score. I like Shed. I like Mitchell. I know he had a bad game, but Shed and Mitchell cannot play together. It should be obvious to anybody who knows basketball that those two just don't have complementary skill sets. They have very similar skill sets that don't complement each other at all. They should not be playing on the floor at the same time. So you say, well, what are you supposed to do? Those are your 4 bench guys. You don't have to play all 4 of them at the same time. You can play 3 of them. And I guess to somewhat his credit in the second half, he didn't use that lineup. Instead, Grady Dick was there instead of Davion Mitchell. Was that because Quickley got injured at halftime and didn't come back to the game, and Davion Mitchell therefore was a starting point guard? I don't know. But how a NBA basketball coach can put that lineup out there and not recognize that it wasn't going to work is baffling, especially against a team who can clog up the paint like the Cavaliers. So room for improvement for Darko, but it looks like, unfortunately, no matter what the consequences are, 4+1 lineups are here to stay. Second thing we learned from the game, trying to conjure up from a game that really just did not give us much. Second thing that we can gather from the game is that this team's thin. When it is suffering from injuries, man, it really lacked RJ Barrett today. Just some of those minutes where you need a bucket, you need somebody to go get it for you. Like that stretch, what I'm talking about with the bench lineup, you're really missing a guy like RJ Barrett. The drop-off is insane. If RJ Barrett doesn't start, RJ Barrett's like a 22-point-per-game player. Abaji comes in, and Abaji's not a starting caliber player. He scores 3 points. The drop-off is insane. Manuel Quickley comes out. David Mitchell comes in who can't score. The drop-off from when one of the 3 core guys of Barnes, Quickley, Barrett get injured is perhaps even more glaring than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a very vast gulf in class between the whoever comes in and starts, but it's clearly problematic if this team has any injuries. It is so thin in the starting five. Last thing that we learned, third thing that I will take away from this game is that it's unfortunately going to be a long season here. I don't think that this is going to be the norm. You lose 30 points, but God, to build up all summer, to get excited for the season, and then just to absolutely take a dump, man. Just to go out there and shit on the court. Home opener, man. You can't even get gassed up for your home opener. You can't get engaged for your home opener. What can you get engaged for? You're down by 20. You're on 69-49 at half. You lose by 30 points in your own backyard. We got way too many of these games last year. We're already getting one of them this year. I don't know, man. Like, I put some of the shit on Darko. Obviously, a lot of guys didn't play well, like I said, but... And I'll finish where I started this. I didn't think they'd win. I don't think this is going to be a great season, but I didn't think it would start this poorly. But it did. And that's sad. That's very, very sad. I'll say the only way is up from here, but I don't know if it is. Because last they proved it can get a whole lot worse than this. So that'll do it for today's post-game show. We're going to struggle for the next little bit to get these post-game shows out consistently, but we will get going during the season. So make sure you subscribe wherever you're watching right now and drop a like if you did enjoy. Let us know your thoughts in the chat and in the comments on how you thought this game was.